So the mystery is inescapably, immediately just this. Just simply hearing a voice, sensations in the body, looking at a screen, and it's inescapably whatever is. You can't do life, and you don't have a life. There is just life, or there is just what is, or there is just immediately this. And you can't have it. It's unownable, because there isn't anything inside the body that can have or own or get to life. And it's sort of an awkward kind of a meeting, because it's sort of just appearing to happen. There isn't a function for this gathering. There isn't a reason for it. There isn't something that is trying to be communicated. Because this can't be had. Life, or what is, can't be held onto or owned or described. If you were to kind of speak flavoursomely, you could say this is a total relaxation into what is, but it's a relaxation that includes tension, includes frustration, it includes it includes, this is total bullshit, it appears as everything. And as everything, it seems to appear as seeking to know, to have, a seeking movement to get life, to have it. And this can take a gazillion different forms, but one particular form seems to be in the arena of, let's say, spirituality. And there can be, for whatever reason, and there isn't a reason, a draw to the mystical or the mysterious or the unknowable. And that can take another gazillion forms in this sort of, in spirituality. And perhaps it can be the idea of enlightenment or liberation or peace beyond all compare or wholeness or oneness or whatever is can be sought after. Let's just say in a story, there can be a stumbling upon a communication that's, let's say it's described as non-duality. And that this communication suggests that there is no self. And on the face of that sort of simple sentence, there can be a grappling with it, because it would seem like the sentence that there is no self, there's nothing that can be done with it. And for the rare, unfortunate few, it seems that it can't be let go of. For lots of people, on hearing that there isn't you and life, there's just life, it can be just ignored. But there can be then a sort of seeking to know, well, what's this about, this no self? What are we talking about here exactly? Is there anything in this for me? Is there anything in this that I can get to make my life better? And if it's an uncompromising communication, there really is nothing in it for you. In fact, you're not really being seen at all, because if you could be seen, then there would be something that's there that is knowable. But there isn't anything that's knowable. So there isn't even a no self that's noble. And so I suppose I'm describing a general grappling with this communication that's called non-duality. But the worst part of this, if it's an uncompromising communication, is actually that there is absolutely nothing on offer. And nothing isn't a thing. And there isn't a place to get to called no self, or a thing to have that is liberation, or a life to know that suddenly then at ease or better off, or in essence, there's nothing in it for you because there isn't a you for there to be something. There's just life, just inescapably, immediately what's appearing to happen, however that is. And that seems to be the whatever, that's the communication, that there's just what's appearing to happen, really, and it's totally and utterly unknowable. But this is also a sort of a gathering, a sharing, or an opportunity for questions and sort of held beliefs or images, held images of what this could be, should be, can I suppose fall away in these sorts of gatherings, or well, they're met with nothing. So and so it's an opportunity for anything at all to be asked, or anything to be said. So if by chance you haven't come to one of these thingy-majiggies, you just unmute and jump on in and ask what's there to be asked, or alternatively, you can just put in the chat box there and ask. And let's see what happens.
Hi, Frank.
How are you?
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens, yeah.
But nothing happens.
Nothing appears to happen, yeah.
This word appears, which appears everywhere in this is a bit confusing.
It's annoying, yeah, because what you want really is for it to be exactly a certain way, really. You know, we want it to be this way, but really it's not, you wouldn't want it to be that way either. It's just normally it's lived in definitives, what's real and unreal, true and not true. And this is not, the words apparently, or this is nothing appearing to happen, it's not like that's then a description for what this is. That's not a description that can be held on to as it being no thing appearing or happening. It's just, you know, it's, you could say this is totally and utterly unknowable then, or perhaps could be just silence. If, you know, that could happen. But
Yeah.
it's appearing, I suppose, is that there isn't, it's not like it's definitively anything at all. But nothing appearing to happen is a sort of an almost like a song or the sound of a voice. It's not saying anything at all. But then it can be imagined that nothing is a thing, you know, but it's not a mantra to live a life by. And so then it's not like it's the bus is hurtling towards you and you're standing there living your life with the mantra that this is nothing appearing to happen. Let's just say getting out of the way may well happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no follow-up at the moment.
Hello, Frank.
Hiya.
Hey, I like your glasses.
Thank you.
Very cool. So this is indescribable, so it cannot be described.
Hmm.
It's also, it's impossible to seek because it's already, well, there is no one to seek it.
It appears as seeking, though.
Yes.
And it also appears as saying that it's indescribable. It appears as that then, that saying is this, it's indescribable. That's what appears to be said.
Yeah. And it's absolutely hopeless. The seeking project is utterly and utterly hopeless.
Well, it's hopeless isn't a wonderful goal either. But it's because there's no one in there
Yeah.
seeking, but seeking appears to happen
Yes.
till it appears as seeking then.
Right. So I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah.
What to do? Right. It just appears as seeking. Yeah.
Appears as everything, yeah. Appears as saying what to do, the hands,
Yeah.
breathing, thoughts, including thoughts.
Mm.
So then there isn't an arrival place.
No.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Even if it's a sort of a tiny thing, normally then there's someone who claims it and it's always something then. And
Yes.
it becomes stale and old very quickly, seems.
Yeah. I just spent the weekend with Jim over here in London,
Yeah.
and I mean the message is the same, of course. Yeah, I mean I have no questions because, well, what is there to ask? I mean, I've watched so many of, not so much you're more recent, but Tony and Jim, Kenneth, etc. That I've heard all the questions, I've asked them in my mind, I've heard them replied to. So I don't know what to do anymore. Just sit, and I'm just here to listen, really, just to see what happens.
Well, you see, you're not here.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not, I don't understand that. That's not an understandable statement. It's not like I've got this secret knowledge here now.
Yeah, yeah.
Saying you're not here.
Yeah.
It's just there's this here-ness, right? It's
Yeah.
inescapably hearing this voice. What
Yeah.
we're used to is a sort of a scenario of 2 + 2 = 4, and I've got it.
Yeah.
So it feels like there needs to be some sort of proof, that I can go around and show then, well, what I've got. But sure, it'd have to be something then.
Yes.
So it's so intimately, inescapably appearing as everything, and that's not a noble thing. So you can't have the attempt to have this. It's just what's appearing to happen. So, but it can reach a point of that, but in reality, questions arising is the same as no questions. It's just what's appearing to happen. And it's unhold onable to, because there isn't anyone that can hold on to anything. It would all be very, very heavy, the whole lot, to hold on to everything. It'd be very heavy.
Yeah.
And to breathe at the same time,
Yeah.
So it's this like.
Yeah.
But you see, normally when sentences like that appear out of a mouth,
Yes.
it's like, he knows that, but I don't know that. Because I wouldn't say that. But that's sort of all, like, really, then it could be just silence then.
Yeah.
But then silence is almost objectified. Well, he's sitting there in silence. He's not sitting there in anything. at all. It's just a voice box and, you know, talking. But it's the exact same there. The thinking, feeling, and all the buts is just what's appearing to happen. So you can't do it or not do it. It's just wonderfully, horribly, frustratingly, and simply, totally simply what's appearing to happen. And it's normally, well, what can I do with this though? But you're not there asking, what can I do with this? It's just what's appearing to be asked.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, very welcome. Cheers. So.
Cheers.
May I ask another question?
Of course, yeah.
So, when I don't know how to put this, what language, I'll just say it normally. When you were frank, yeah, when there was a me in you, even though there's not, but when there appeared to be, right?
Go on, yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So I understand that you did some research into psychedelics, yeah. And I'm just curious, and this is all because, of course, I'm looking for a bloody reference point. But that said, what's the difference, or what can you say about that? I'm just curious. It's just a curiosity, really, arising.
Well, it seems like, say, for example, drinking water is seen to be sort of a kind of a thing, just that's an ordinary whatever thing.
Yeah.
Where something like psychedelics seems to have a much bigger story associated with it, you know, like a dropping away of the ego, or a, you know, oh, I mean, there's wonderful stories of seeing unbelievable visuals and and there's a huge story with that. And then, for example, going for a walk with the dog, and it's raining and it's cold. It's not such a glamorous story. So I suppose what I'm saying is really that taking psychedelics, going for a walk, or drinking water is just what's appearing to happen. That's the same. It's the same as this now. It's the same but different. You know, it's what it is. It's what's appearing to happen. So taking psychedelics, drinking a cup of coffee, or whatever. But it would seem like there's a much bigger story to be told. But what's normally looked for in hearing about psychedelics is there a little cute back door in here that if I go and take psychedelics, all will be revealed.
Yeah.
And no, in the end, it's just another, I won't say a trap, because that suggests, but it's another little seeking journey to go on, you know, really. It's if I do this enough times, I'm not quite there now. I mean, what's his name? I do like what your man said. Once you get the message, hang up the phone. The problem is there isn't a message.
Right.
And there isn't someone that can hang up a phone and stop. If there was, they'd know how to start seeking.
Yeah.
So
And there's no one even phoning either.
Yeah.
The phone doesn't even ring, so to speak.
So it's all, yeah, and it's sort of misleading. Oh, if I get the message, then I can hang up the phone. But sure, how can you didn't pick up the phone? So you didn't start seeking. Sure, if you definitely would stop. And it's like this sort of communication. It would be let go of if you were in there sorting the whole thing out, because it's the worst. It's the worst, and also I suppose it's sort of totally free, you know. But it's not. That's not a thing. Like, it's just, in the end, it's just what it appears to be. So there isn't a place nor someone that can get there.
Yeah. So, okay, I have some vague grasp of that. Was there at all, though, a kind of a loss of the sense of self, particularly on 5-MeO-DMT? Was there a loss of the sense of self that could in any way be compared to what's happening now? Or is that for you, so to speak? Or is that just entirely a different register altogether?
Well, you see, there'd have to be someone in there that could have registered a self.
Right. Yeah.
And there'd have to be a self that could fall away.
Good point. Yeah.
So it's like almost kind of saying, well, what happens in deep sleep? It's, you know, that's sort of some of the psychedelics can be just totally, there isn't a nothing then that can be experienced. There
Right.
isn't nothing isn't a thing that can be experienced. So
Right.
then what all these, in a sense, you could say, I think I'd say all these experiences are almost like a curse, because it's like, oh, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah.
Sitting, having, talking, or whatever. It's not that. It can't be that. It needs to be a better. Can't be just simply this. Can't be just talking here, because I had this big, massive experience, and all was revealed as wonderful. And now, sitting here, listening to your voice is not it, or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, so they're just experiences. They're sort of phenomenal experiences, but there's nothing to be held on to with them really either, you know. It's like sitting drinking a cup of coffee is pretty okay too, you know. No one annoying you. That's my favorite. Oh, apparently my wife has said that on my gravestone it's going to say, "Can I not just have my coffee?" Anyway.
All right. Thanks again, Frank. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
Nobody is doing anything.
Mm.
And a lot of these nobodies that appear in these meetings, a lot of times they are very tired.
Mm.
And I was wondering, is that kind of old energies that's appearing as tiredness?
Yeah, well, so all there is tiredness then. But so there isn't nobody isn't a somebody. That's a nobody. So then there's just what's appearing to happen, tiredness.
Mm-hmm.
And in a sense, for that, you could, I mean, for that which is constantly seeking something, it's sort of, this communication can be utterly exhausting because it's constantly trying to get something from nothing. But that's sort of a general kind of a story, and it's not. So basically, it's easier to say if feeling tired is what's appearing to happen, then that's what's appearing to happen. You can't do feeling tired or not feeling not do it. It's just what is. And also, it's sort of too general to say that a lot of people might be tired. Who knows? Like, really, you know, might be in great form either. I don't know. So all there is just inescapably, immediately what is. And you can't do what is. And you can't not do what is. It's just what is.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's not useful. This is not useful in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, in the past, it looks like I could use it in my work, and I had a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But I know I don't know. I'm not having it anymore.
Yeah. If it was useful, then it wouldn't be. This is just nothing
Hmm.
at
Yeah.
all. And
Yeah.
so then it's just appearing to happen. And so you're not coming to a meeting. You're not coming to a meeting either. There's just this. Woohoo! Oh, fuck.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just read this out. Useful needs inevitably as somebody who it would be useful for, but there isn't. Useful and as somebody are kind of one and the same thing. Yeah, maybe it's sort of like what's in it for me, really. What can I get out of this? But it's funny, it sort of can reach a point where that is also, that usefulness is, oh, I'm getting something out of this. That sort of can be a little bit nauseating too, can reach a point like that where it's kind of like, oh, here we go again. So it's not, this is neither then useful or useless. It's just what's appearing to happen. What's the question there? So is this just this appearing as trying to understand this? Well, if that's what's being described and felt, then that is what's being described and felt. So if it feels like if it's, you know, if the reality is I'm trying to understand this and get this, then that is what it is. But in a sense, it's not validated either. It's not like, right, well, okay, it's I believe you. It's just more like, well, that's what's being described and felt. So this is utterly authorityless. So then there isn't anyone that can suddenly make this safe or explainable or understandable. But so this appears, however, it does really. I think mostly though it seems like we're used to things being validated, like it's like whether whatever that is, somebody somewhere to validate what is. In a sense, this can be very uncomfortable because nothing at all is validated. It's like then when somebody starts saying, oh, I know there's no self, or I feel like a me, or I don't feel like a me, or whatever. Okay, then that's what's appearing. But it's not like, all right, that's true then, or somebody can, it's not like this can be anointed or or there's any proof. So really then the almost the most that can be said is that there's just inescapably whatever is being described and felt or whatever is really. But also then this has absolutely nothing to do with understanding, because understanding would be another having for someone. And this immediately could be bound by a few words, knowable and explainable. So then we're back in the game of understanding. So it's nothing at all to do with understanding. And yet it appears as that. And I suppose just as a, if it was understandable, then we'd be back in a mathematical equation. And it'd be the best in the class who would get it. Then we're back in the who tries the hardest hierarchy and being a good boy and a good girl. How tiresome is that? This is free, but you can't have it. It appears exactly just in now this hearing a voice and whatever thoughts arising. And you won't get any closer or further away from what is.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
It's beautiful. Thank you. It sends there's a lot of compassion in a way there, because it's like every concept or idea is just erased. There's no ground to stand on. That's what comes through. You know, it's felt like just beautiful. Quite. I don't know if it's freeing or whatever, but all I can say here is just like an emotional reaction to what he said. This erasing of right or wrong or left or right or this or that is it just feels like so much compassion. Just want to say thank you, really.
Well, that's what's being felt then.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what appears to be
Yeah,
being
there's
felt,
nothing
yeah.
else.
Yeah. It's just compassion is so laden down with a sort of a doing or a, you know, or a trying to be, and really it's just seems to be how it is. It's kind of mind-blowing how the words come out and sort of just you know, it's just it's just sort of mind-blowing, yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
It's not
that's
like
it.
if there was, you know, it was a doing or purpose or whatever. You can't. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say. You know, so it's like that really, and it's just then that's how it appears to be. It's just boom, and it's neither compassionate nor not compassionate. Also, it's just response, and in a wonderful way, it is a total mystery, but it sort of exposes the mystery of absolutely everything. There isn't then some things that are knowable. It's not like then, okay, well, non-duality, I forget about getting that one, but I can know everything else. Well, really, actually, no, nothing is at all knowable, including nothing. So, you know, so then it's just wonderfully how it appears to be, and potentially horribly also.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
So Frank, just one more from me, if I may. You use terms, and I've heard them before from other speakers, of things like intimacy or directness, and that kind of intimates some kind of a quality. It's probably not a quality because can be everything, anything, etc. But is there any sense, and I'm not even sure how to ask the question, but is there any, and I'm looking for a description, but is there any sense of particular qualities to this that are apparent now that were not apparent when there was Frank? Does that make sense, that question?
Well, there was never Frank.
Right. But when there appeared to be a Frank.
Well, you could say when there appeared to be seeking.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, lovely. All right, yes, I got that.
Okay, so then suddenly there's not seeking. So I didn't start seeking, or I didn't stop seeking, but seeking appeared to start and stop, right? So
Yeah.
then it suddenly appears as asking, as hearing the question of, is there any particular qualities to this? That's inescapably this. You see, I think we're so, the childlike innocence that may have been, you might hear that.
Yes, I have.
And that childlike innocence is sort of like the stupefaction of everything. It's like we look around and all the adults seem to know. They know what you are. They know who you are. And everybody then agrees upon that way. And that's how it is. And it's sort of, that's base, that's reality. And so then to hear, that there isn't a self, normally that comes with a knowledge. Because
Yes.
the child doesn't know about self or no self, let's just say, doesn't know about me or you. And then suddenly everybody else knows about all that. And so it's like, then even in these scenarios here, in this conversation, it's imagined that Frank knows what no self is. In actual fact, he doesn't know anything. It's you who knows about self and no self. It's you who knows about the dropping away of self, and it's you who knows about liberation. You're the one with all the knowledge, whereas this doesn't have any knowledge at all. I don't want to say this because it sounds like a fucking way of talking, but you know what I mean? Like, I have no clue what anything is at all. It's you're the one. And yet actually there's total dissatisfaction with that sort of knowing, that sort of this being bound by words, that, that there's sort of dissatisfaction that I don't know if it's life or not life. What do you mean? But it's sort of like, well, somebody must know that. Even not knowing must be a thing to have. So not knowing can't be known. And it's sort of then, it's just, in the end, there's just not anyone in there that can have this already.
Yes.
So there's no James in there. James Forrest, James, your first name? There's no James in there operating the system.
Forrest, actually, but yes.
Forrest, okay, it's lovely.
Not that it matters, really.
Well, Forrest is, that big Forrest is, I like the name Forrest. There isn't a Forrest in there operating the system, asking that question or hearing this now. So how do you describe this then? You describe this.
Well, I can't really. It's just, I'm seeing you, I'm hearing my voice, I'm hearing yours. That's all it seems. I'm listening to what's coming out of my mouth, and it's about as much as is going on, it would seem. Pictures
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So seeing a screen and hearing a voice, and that's what's happening.
What's
then.
happening? Oh.
Yeah. And so like if this then could be described as something, then somebody who knows what this is, but it's not. But and why that it can't be described really is because there isn't anyone in there that can describe anything. There isn't a description for this, but yet it appears as hearing and saying there isn't a description for this. So this just here talking, this, what can be said about this? And so then this bald, bespeckled human being doesn't have anything at
Yeah.
all. And that doesn't either, but it can be imagined then perhaps that there's answers for this.
Yeah.
But that's always, because everywhere it goes, everybody's got an answer. And then even when it's presented with that there isn't, that this is totally and utterly unknowable, it's imagined that that's a known thing.
Yeah.
That's the only killer, that it's imagined that when the words this is unknowable, or it's imagined that that's known, and then I can have that too.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. But so the problem, so then this repeatedly just returns to, well, that's what's appearing to happen then, because it's not like that then can be fixed.
No.
You know, it's not like, or
Yeah. Mm.
so then nothing happens. Not even the tiniest hair on the head is touched. Nothing. It must be something, Frank. You wouldn't be holding a meeting if it was absolutely nothing. I'm not holding a meeting. It's just meeting appearing to happen. The same there, clicking on computer. Just so happens at the start, it seems like there's an introduction. But even the introduction is sort of ripped asunder, really. It's not like anything then that I said at the start is a known thing.
Yes, but it can be taken to be such if you're looking for something.
Yeah, funnily, nothing can be imagined as a thing
Yeah.
that I can have. And it sort of can be like, well, nothing must be something. Why would they keep talking about nothing then? And it's not like it's then just say blah, 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 say, you know, saying it's blah, blah, blah is the same as saying nothing or whatever.
Everything.
It won't be ever held on to.
Thank you again. Cheers, Frank. So.
Thank you. And there isn't an it that can be held on to, nor a you that can hold on. And it's not something that can happen then. If there isn't a you that can suddenly fall away, and then all will be revealed as whole and complete, and then I'll hold a meeting, and it'll be, you know, it's maybe it'll be holding a meeting, maybe they won't, maybe there'll never be another word said. It's, who knows? It's, if there's absolutely nothing happens. Yeah. So on that wonderfully optimistic and beautiful note, I'd like to thank you all for a lovely meeting. Thank you.